If you're over 65 and waking up at 2 a.m. with heartburn, a racing heart, or a sudden trip to the bathroom, the cause might not be what you think. It may not be your medications. It may not be aging alone. It could be something you ate an hour before bed that most people consider healthy. I see this in my practice every week. A small nighttime habit quietly disrupting sleep, blood sugar, digestion, and even heart rhythm in older adults. Hi, I'm Dr. Emily. I have 25 years of clinical experience working with adults over 60, and one of the most overlooked issues I address is how certain healthy foods affect the body differently at night, especially after 65. Today we're talking about 5 fruits seniors over 65 should avoid eating at night, not because fruit is bad, but because timing matters more than most people realize. As we age, digestion slows, stomach acid changes, insulin response becomes less efficient, the kidneys process fluids differently, the bladder becomes more sensitive, even mild reflux can become more pronounced when lying down. That means foods that were harmless at 40 may cause very real symptoms at 70, especially in the evening. Let's start with the first fruit, oranges and other citrus fruits. Oranges, grapefruits, tangerines, and lemons are packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. During the daytime, they can absolutely be part of a healthy diet. But at night, especially within 2 to 3 hours of lying down, citrus fruits are one of the most common triggers for acid reflux in older adults. Citrus fruits are highly acidic. When you lie flat, stomach contents can more easily move upward into the esophagus. The muscle that keeps acid down, called the lower esophageal sphincter, weakens with age. That's why many adults over 65 develop new reflux symptoms, even if they never had them before. A glass of orange juice or a fresh orange after dinner may not feel heavy, but once you're in bed, that acid can irritate the esophagus and cause burning in the chest, chronic coughing, throat clearing, or even disturbed sleep. I've had patients tell me they thought their nighttime cough was a lung issue. In reality, it was silent reflux triggered by acidic foods eaten late. When we simply moved citrus to earlier in the day, their symptoms improved without additional medication. Citrus can also irritate the bladder in some seniors. If you already wake up once or twice a night to urinate, adding bladder-irritating foods in the evening may increase urgency and frequency. That leads to more sleep disruption, and poor sleep affects everything from blood pressure to memory to blood sugar control. The second fruit I want to discuss is watermelon. Watermelon feels light, it's refreshing, it's hydrating. But that's exactly why it can become a problem at night. Watermelon has a very high water content. When eaten in the evening, especially in larger portions, it increases nighttime urine production. As kidney function changes with age, fluid regulation shifts. Your body may not hold on to fluids the same way it did decades ago. If you struggle with nighttime urination, what we call nocturia, watermelon before bed can make it worse. Waking up multiple times during the night is not just inconvenient, it increases fall risk, it disrupts deep sleep cycles, it contributes to daytime fatigue and even cognitive decline over time. Watermelon also has a moderately high glycemic load when eaten in larger amounts. That means it can raise blood sugar more quickly than some other fruits. In seniors with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, a bowl of watermelon at night can cause a spike followed by a drop in blood sugar while sleeping. That drop may trigger sweating, restlessness, vivid dreams, or early morning awakenings. I often remind my patients that nighttime is when your body should be repairing, not processing sugar surges. A stable blood sugar level overnight supports better cardiovascular health and brain function. Now let's talk about bananas. Bananas are often recommended for their potassium and fiber. And for many people, they're a fine daytime snack. But at night, bananas can cause digestive heaviness in some adults over 65. As gastric emptying slows with age, certain fruits that are denser or higher in natural sugars can sit in the stomach longer. Some seniors report bloating, gas, or mild indigestion after eating a banana in the evening. Lying down before that food has moved through the stomach increases discomfort. In individuals prone to reflux, bananas can sometimes contribute to symptoms, particularly when combined with other foods. There's also the issue of portion size. A large banana contains a significant amount of natural sugar. While it's not comparable to dessert, it can still influence nighttime glucose levels in individuals with insulin resistance. The effect is subtle but meaningful over time. I'm not saying bananas are dangerous. I am saying that your metabolism at 8 p.m. is different from your metabolism at 10 a.m. After 65, the body becomes more sensitive to timing. What you tolerate well during the day may disrupt sleep or digestion at night. One of the biggest mistakes I see is the assumption that fruit is always a safe evening snack. For seniors, sleep quality is directly tied to heart health, immune function, weight stability, and mental clarity. Anything that interferes with deep, uninterrupted sleep deserves attention. Many adults over 65 already manage conditions like hypertension, diabetes, mild kidney impairment, or gastroesophageal reflux disease. Even if those conditions are well controlled, nighttime food choices can influence symptoms, and fruit, because it's perceived as harmless, often escapes scrutiny. When I work with older patients who complain of poor sleep, we review not only caffeine and heavy meals, but also fruit timing. Simply shifting certain fruits to earlier in the day often improves sleep continuity within weeks. The goal here is not restriction, it's strategic timing. In your 60s and 70s, your body rewards consistency and moderation. It responds well to lighter, low-acid, lower-sugar foods in the evening and more nutrient-dense options earlier in the day when digestion and insulin sensitivity are stronger. Nighttime eating should support rest, not challenge your digestive system or blood sugar balance. And understanding which fruits can interfere with that process is a small adjustment that can produce meaningful results. We've covered citrus fruits, watermelon, and bananas. Each one has health benefits. But after 65, the question isn't only whether a food is healthy. The question is when your body can handle it best. The fourth fruit I want you to reconsider at night is pineapple. Pineapple is rich in vitamin C, manganese, and an enzyme called bromelain. During the daytime, especially earlier in the day, it can be a flavorful and nutritious option. But at night, pineapple is one of the most common fruits I see contributing to digestive irritation in adults over 65. Pineapple is highly acidic. Even more important, bromelain can stimulate digestive activity. While that may sound beneficial, it can create discomfort when eaten close to bedtime. As we age, the lining of the stomach becomes more sensitive. The protective mechanisms that once handled acidic foods easily are not as resilient. If you already deal with occasional heartburn, a hiatal hernia, or mild gastritis, pineapple in the evening can intensify symptoms once you lie down. I've treated many older adults who assumed their nighttime chest pressure was cardiac. After appropriate evaluation ruled out heart issues, we traced the problem back to late evening acidic foods, and pineapple was often one of them. When stomach acid rises into the esophagus during sleep, it can mimic more serious symptoms. Even if the discomfort is mild, it fragments sleep cycles. Over time, that affects blood pressure regulation and increases inflammation. Pineapple also contains a concentrated amount of natural sugar. While fruit sugar is not the same as processed sugar, it still influences glucose levels. Seniors with reduced insulin sensitivity may experience subtle spikes after eating pineapple at night. Those fluctuations may not always show dramatic numbers on a glucose monitor, but they can still affect how deeply and peacefully you sleep. Another issue to consider is dental sensitivity. Many adults over 65 have enamel thinning or gum recession. Acidic fruits eaten before bed, especially without brushing afterward, expose teeth to prolonged acid contact overnight. Saliva production decreases while sleeping, which means there is less natural buffering against acidity. Over time, that contributes to enamel erosion and tooth sensitivity. Now let's talk about the fifth fruit, grapes. Grapes are often viewed as a light snack. They are easy to eat and don't feel heavy. However, portion control becomes a problem with grapes. It's very easy to eat a large amount without realizing it. A handful quickly turns into 2 or 3. Grapes have a relatively high natural sugar content and a moderate glycemic impact when eaten in larger quantities. In adults over 65, especially those with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, this can contribute to nighttime glucose variability. Stable blood sugar overnight is critical for brain health. During sleep, your brain performs essential maintenance functions. Repeated glucose spikes and dips interfere with that stability. Grapes also contain natural compounds that may slightly stimulate digestion. For some seniors, this results in mild bloating or abdominal discomfort when eaten late. Again, the issue isn't that grapes are unhealthy. The issue is that nighttime digestion is slower and less efficient. There is also the fluid component. While grapes are not as water-dense as watermelon, they still contribute to fluid intake. If you are already limiting fluids in the evening to reduce nighttime urination, adding a bowl of grapes may counteract that effort. At this stage in life, sleep architecture becomes more fragile. Deep sleep decreases naturally with age. You have fewer slow wave cycles and more awakenings. Because of that, even minor triggers, acid reflux, blood sugar shifts, bladder irritation, have a bigger impact than they did decades ago. I want to pause here and clarify something important. This conversation is not about fear, it's about physiology. Your body at 70 is not the same as your body at 40. That's not a weakness, it's simply biology. Digestive motility slows, hormonal rhythms shift, kidney filtration changes, muscle tone in the esophagus weakens, insulin response becomes more gradual. These changes are normal, but they require smarter timing of certain foods. Many seniors tell me they choose fruit at night because they want something sweet but healthy. I respect that intention. It's far better than reaching for processed desserts. However, a healthier approach may be choosing fruits earlier in the day and opting for a lighter, lower sugar evening option if you're truly hungry. Another factor to consider is medication timing. Many adults over 65 take blood pressure medications, diuretics, or medications for reflux or diabetes. Certain fruits can interact indirectly with how comfortable you feel overnight. For example, if you take a diuretic in the afternoon and then eat a high-water fruit at night, you may experience more frequent bathroom trips. If you take medication for reflux but continue eating acidic fruits before bed, you may feel that the medication isn't working, when in reality it's being challenged by diet timing. Let's also discuss inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation becomes more common with aging. Poor sleep increases inflammatory markers. Repeated nighttime disruptions, whether from reflux, blood sugar changes, or bathroom trips, contribute to that cycle. Over months and years, fragmented sleep affects cardiovascular health, immune resilience, and even mood stability. When patients improve their sleep by adjusting simple habits like fruit timing, I often see improvements in morning blood pressure readings and fasting glucose levels. The change is gradual but measurable. That's the power of small, consistent decisions. You may be wondering, does this mean you should never eat these fruits? Absolutely not. Citrus, watermelon, bananas, pineapple, and grapes all contain valuable nutrients. The key is shifting them to earlier in the day, when your digestive system and insulin sensitivity are more active and upright posture reduces reflux risk. After 65, the body thrives on predictability. Eating heavier or more acidic foods earlier allows the evening to become a true wind-down period. Think of nighttime nutrition as supportive and calming rather than stimulating. The conversation about fruit at night may seem minor, but in clinical practice, these small details often separate restless sleep from restorative sleep. And restorative sleep is one of the strongest predictors of long-term independence, cognitive clarity, and cardiovascular stability in older adults. Your health is not just about what you eat, it's also about when you eat it. Now that we've discussed the 5 fruits that can create problems at night, citrus fruits, watermelon, bananas, pineapple, and grapes, I want to bring everything together in a practical way that makes sense for your daily life. After 65, your body operates on a more delicate rhythm. That is not a flaw. It is simply a stage of life where systems are more sensitive to disruption. Your digestive tract empties more slowly. Your insulin response is not as sharp as it once was. Your bladder signals are stronger. Your sleep cycles are lighter. When you combine those natural changes with acidic, high water, or higher sugar fruits in the evening, the result can be fragmented sleep, subtle blood sugar swings, nighttime reflux, or extra trips to the bathroom. Many seniors I work with do not connect their nighttime symptoms to fruit. They assume fruit is always neutral or beneficial, regardless of timing. But in medicine, timing matters. The same orange that supports immune health at breakfast can trigger heartburn at 10 p.m. The same bowl of watermelon that hydrates you at lunch can wake you up twice overnight. Let's talk about what happens during sleep. While you rest, your body shifts into repair mode. Growth hormone supports tissue maintenance. The brain clears metabolic waste. Blood pressure naturally dips. Stable glucose levels allow the nervous system to relax. When digestion is still active because of late sugar-rich or acidic foods, the body stays slightly stimulated. That stimulation may be mild, but over months and years it adds up. I want to emphasize something important. This is not about perfection. It is about patterns. If you occasionally have fruit at night and feel fine, that is not a crisis. The concern arises when nighttime fruit becomes a daily habit and sleep quality gradually declines. Many seniors adjust to poor sleep and assume it is simply aging. Often, lifestyle factors are contributing quietly in the background. Another consideration is portion awareness. Even during the day, fruit portions matter more after 65. Your muscle mass naturally decreases with age, which affects how efficiently your body uses glucose. That means large servings of fruit, especially grapes, pineapple, or bananas, can influence blood sugar more than they would have years ago. At night, when physical activity is low, the body has fewer opportunities to use that incoming glucose efficiently. If you enjoy fruit in the evening, consider whether you are truly hungry or simply looking for something sweet out of habit. True hunger usually builds gradually and is accompanied by physical signs like a mild stomach growl or low energy. Habit hunger often appears at the same time each night and is more about routine than need. Recognizing that difference can help you make intentional choices. For many seniors, the best strategy is simple. Enjoy fruit earlier in the day, ideally in the morning or early afternoon. Pair it with protein or healthy fat to slow glucose absorption. For example, fruit with Greek yogurt or a handful of nuts during the day supports steadier energy. In the evening, if you need something light, choose options that are less acidic and lower in sugar, and keep portions modest. Hydration timing also matters. Try to front-load most of your fluids earlier in the day. Reducing high-water fruits at night can significantly decrease nocturia. Fewer bathroom trips mean deeper sleep, and deeper sleep improves balance, reaction time, and overall safety. I also encourage you to pay attention to how your body responds. Medicine is not one size fits all. Some adults tolerate bananas at night without issue but struggle with citrus. Others notice that grapes affect their glucose readings more than pineapple. If you monitor your blood sugar, observe patterns. If you deal with reflux, track symptoms in relation to timing. Your body provides valuable feedback when you listen closely. As a physician, my role is not to restrict your enjoyment of food. It is to help you align your habits with how your body functions now. Aging successfully is about small adjustments that protect sleep, heart health, metabolic stability, and independence. Sleep, in particular, deserves protection. Chronic sleep fragmentation increases the risk of high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, insulin resistance, and cognitive decline. When we improve sleep quality by reducing nighttime triggers, whether that is caffeine, heavy meals, or certain fruits, we support the entire system. There is also an emotional component. Many seniors tell me they feel frustrated when new sensitivities appear. They say, "I've eaten this my whole life." That may be true, but the body evolves. What worked at 45 does not always work at 75. Adapting is not a loss of freedom. It is an act of self-respect. If you take medications for diabetes, high blood pressure, kidney disease, or reflux, dietary timing becomes even more important. Small shifts can enhance how well those treatments work. Always discuss significant dietary changes with your personal physician, especially if you have chronic medical conditions. Individual guidance matters. The central message is this: fruit is healthy, but nighttime may not be the best time for certain types after 65. By moving citrus, watermelon, bananas, pineapple, and grapes to earlier hours, you may experience fewer reflux episodes, more stable overnight glucose, fewer bathroom trips, and more restorative sleep. Better sleep supports sharper thinking, steadier mood, stronger immunity, and improved cardiovascular stability. It also supports something deeply valuable: your ability to wake up feeling clear and capable. If this information has helped you think differently about your evening routine, I encourage you to take one small step tonight. Notice what you eat after dinner. Notice how you sleep. Subtle awareness leads to meaningful change. If you found this discussion helpful, please like the video and subscribe to Dr. Emily Longevity Lab so you don't miss future evidence-based guidance designed specifically for adults over 60. And I would truly value hearing from you. Leave a comment and let me know if adjusting nighttime fruit has made a difference in your sleep or digestion. Your experiences matter, and they often help others in this community. I'm Dr. Emily, and after 25 years in clinical practice, I can tell you that small, thoughtful changes consistently produce the strongest long-term results. Protect your sleep, support your metabolism, and take care of your health with intention, one evening at a time.